Okay. Now it says we're finally live.
Okay. Well, they missed all the good conversation. So
They did. Oh my.
okay.
Okay.
People, yeah, indicate, can you hear us?
Yeah, because no one even said anything like when you. Okay.
No.
Big Belly
Hi,
Living
ladies.
just said hi, ladies. You guys, it's been a real struggle bus here. And I apologize. And I am not going to go through the intro. Just please, everyone, know we are so excited that you stuck with this and that you are here. We apologize for being so late. It'll, it's all going to work out here. I'm hoping that it'll pop up on your end, Mary Ellen, because I'm seeing people. Okay, Lisa, Robbie, I hope I don't say that wrong. I'm sorry. On your end says, hello, trees. I can hear you.
They can't see me, but they can hear me, or
Hello. Hey, Wendy Zimmerman. So anyone who is on Prepper Potpourri's channel, can you see her? We really are struggling a little bit with things today. So I apologize for that. And okay.
we see you
I
both.
just took a
Okay, I don't
screenshot.
know.
That's how terrible I am with technology. What we're going to do is I'm going to exit out and I'm going to try to get back in. I'm going to put us up to live. Huh. Well, I don't know. I do not know why it's not working on your end. Does it say go live? Is there a button? She says, yes, I can see her. Is it just her or do you see two people?
It says I am live. I don't know.
Okay. Well, I don't know. We're just going to go with it. Okay. If you're all right with that, Mary Ellen.
Yeah, I'm fine.
We're going to go with it because I don't know. Oh, she can see us both. Okay. So maybe it's just not going to pop up on our end later, but I'm glad that you all stuck with it because we saw you over there singing songs and we're like, what, are we that boring?
We thought we were putting them to sleep. They went
Yeah.
to take a nap.
Yeah, that was terrible. That was awful. I apologize, everyone, but as if you would have been here earlier, you would have seen that Mary Ellen and I both said, we're still learning. We're still learning. So if you don't mind, I'm going to go back and ask you a couple of those questions again, because I know people are going to want to know the answer. And one is, how long have you been doing YouTube and what made you decide to get started?
I have been on YouTube for over 10 years, and I got started more on a lark where the Urban Prepper was giving out a contest, but you had to make a video to be qualified for the present. And so I had my son film me on his iPhone, and I submitted it. And then I watched it on live, on there. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so bad. I can do better than that. So I tried to learn. I still have all, not great videos, sometimes sound quality not quite there, maybe lighting, whatever. But I have learned things, and I thought this is a great education platform. I also occasionally teach at the local university. I love educating people on different things, helping them learn something. And I thought, wow, YouTube is a great platform for learning. So I wanted to be part of it.
That is awesome. So we talked about how long you've been doing it, why you did it. Okay, yes, how you came up with your name and your logo.
Oh, that's right. The logo, being a squirrel, to me, a squirrel is a good little prepper animal. They gather all year long in the summer and berry stuff and cash stuff, whatever, to survive in the winter. So I thought, well, a squirrel would be good. And my son's had a friend in Canada who did drawing, whatever, and he said, I'll have her make you up something. So I got my channel icon and I have never changed it in 10 years.
And I love it. I just think it's adorable little squirrel. And now I understand what Leanne was saying, because about the same time we were actually having this conversation where they couldn't see us, she said dead squirrel. And I'm like, what did she mean by that? Well, now
Ran
I get it.
over.
Yeah, I get it now. They couldn't see us. Your channel was dead, so I get it now. So, oh my gosh, that's funny. That's funny. And so we also talked about on your logo. I'll read it again for everyone. It says, and I'll pop it up because you guys didn't get to see my little intro. This is her channel. If you've not been there before, I will pop up the link. And Joey or any of my other mods, if you can get a link to her channel, that would be perfect. Emergency preparedness, food preservation, gardening, chicken, and rabbit care. And I asked her, I said, do you still do all those things?
I sure do. I'm a 4-H leader. We have a rabbit club, and my grandchildren, 3 rabbits, are kept at my house, so I get to take care of them all the time. And they are not for eating; they are for petting.
I was going
And
to ask if they were just show only or if you breed them.
and then we have 5 hens for laying hens, and I still have a big garden. Yeah, and I still do prepping videos too, so still do it all.
So you will can and you dehydrate too, right?
Yes, yes.
And do you use freeze-dried foods? Do I remember that you have had those in the
Not
past?
not that much.
Okay.
I have some Thrive products,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I have them more for a little bit longer term storage than to use every
Mm-hmm.
day.
Yeah. I couldn't remember. I was thinking I'd seen it because I was telling her and all of you that I have been more of a, I guess, a secret watcher or a lurker of hers for many years. I always have enjoyed during harvest time when I'm in the tractor to watch different people, and that's how I kind of got onto YouTube. And I was watching her along with several other channels. I think we decided maybe 6 years ago, and it's been a lot of fun to watch the different things that you've done. And we've talked about your prepping and how you don't want it, if I understand this right, you don't want it to be a scary doom and gloom thing, right? Do you want to
Yeah, and
talk
you
about
see
that a little?
so much, especially the way to get views is come up with this big thing like, the world's going to end next Wednesday, right? Type of thing. And then they get all the views and people look. But to me, that just gives fear, and then fear can paralyze you, take no action. To me, prepping is a continuum. It's just something you should do each day. It just makes sense to try to be more self-reliant and don't have, doom, gloom, fear. That's not, you prep out of love for your family, not out of fear.
Yeah, I love that. Because you never know. I mean, there's been times where, we'll get an unexpected storm or something and you're without electricity. And I have appreciated that I had some canned food and things that I could feed my family. Or my friend Renee over at Pike Creek Farm, you all have had her, seen her on here before. We lovingly, or she, many people in the community lovingly call it fast food, but she's said it, and we've joked about it before, that it's so handy just when you're tired, when you're just
Mm-hmm.
have so much going on and you're tired. And it's the same with freezer meals, because I love to put, like, if I
I
make
do too.
lasagna, make 2 and then have one in the freezer for later. So
Yeah, yeah. So you're prepping for the future by doing that. And I was interviewed by a doctoral student in Oxford in UK today. She's working on a dissertation thinking that most preppers are male because you don't see much about female preppers. And I think that's because that's just part of who we are. We don't consider ourselves a prepper very often.
it's
It's
true.
just what we do.
Yeah, that's so, I never really thought of it that way, but it's true. We tend to be that role where we take care of things, and it's just natural. I've talked about this many times before, so if you're not new to my channel, bear with this story. But every fall, and I actually just took a trip yesterday, we go and stock up on stuff for winter. And that's just was natural. And I grew up that way, that what you couldn't or didn't grow in your gardens and be putting up, we would go stock up so that we would have it. And it was not unusual to buy a case of canned mushrooms or a case of mixed vegetables. We didn't look weird to us because that's just what we did. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We love our pantries.
Hey,
It's a beautiful
Mosaic,
thing.
you have too. Mosaic Homestead just said never heard of me. He has the most fantastic chicken coop.
Oh.
If you ever want to check his channel out, it's like a mansion for chickens.
Oh, what do they call that? Oh, I don't know where I'm going with that one. But there's I saw like in catalogs and stuff, you would see these fancy ones with chandeliers and everything, and they called them something. But
His he just built his, and it's just amazing. He lives in Puerto Rico, and
oh wow.
yeah, and they've been, you better be a prepper in Puerto Rico. Think of what they've been through for the
Oh
hurricanes.
yeah. Yeah, true. Oh, I missed it. Someone said I'm new here. Well, welcome. I'm glad you're here. I'm trying to get my wits back to me about getting back on what we were talking about and what we may have missed. So tell me, what do you have in your garden this year? How's it going for you? Have you had some failures and successes this year?
Yeah, it was a weird start in Michigan. We didn't get where I live more than, I don't know, I think like a tenth of an inch of rain in almost 30 days, which is unbelievable. So yeah, it was a slower start. To think now we're getting rain all the time. But things are going pretty well. But my tomatoes are just taking a little bit longer. They're just starting to ripen now. And
Mhm.
I got my first corn last night. God, it was so sweet. It was
Oh, I
so
bet.
good. And yeah, my peas were good this year. There's no problem with that. And right now I'm doing the beans, but I no longer grow bush beans. I really like pole beans. It's so much easier to pick and take care of. So yeah, but things are going really well. I don't know if my watermelons will make it in time because it just depends what kind of season we're going to have when we get our first frost. We never know. So
That's true. Yeah, because they do take a bit longer. Do you have any fall squash, or are you
I
putting in
do.
a
I do.
garden?
I'm not doing a fall garden this year, but I do have fall squash. It's called the Tuffy squash.
Oh,
It's kind of like a little black acorn. And man, they are sweet and it's a prolific plant. I mean, it grows everywhere. I really like it.
I'll have to look into that because I've gotten into where I really like acorn squash. So if they're
Yeah, it's
similar,
good.
I would probably like it.
And it will grow up on a trellis too, which is kind of
Oh,
nice if you only
nice.
have limited space.
Yeah. I have this space kind of. I've just started doing things in pots, and I told myself I didn't get the green beans planted, but I'm like, I could do that in the fall. You can get a fall garden, but I think I've missed my opportunity of planting again. So next year, maybe.
Yeah, I have to admit, when fall starts coming around, I'm kind of ready to be done in the garden,
Yeah.
It's like, man, I got it. I did it. I'm canning all the time, right? It's okay. I'm gonna put it to bed.
Yeah, you do. You get tired. And then if you do have a fall garden, then it's later to clean up time too. Like you said, to put it to bed. And then the next thing you know it, you may have had a snow or two before you
Yeah,
can actually get to it. And yeah, each season is nice because in the spring you're so excited and it's not worth doing if you lose that excitement, I guess. Um so do you have anything on your channel that you feel like is specific just to you that people should know about you?
Hmm. Wow. Um, well, there is one video it's 30 questions or something about you, and it explains how I used to go to science fiction conventions, and
Cool.
I used to volunteer at comic book conventions like Chicago, the big Comic Con, and yeah, go to metal concerts. But other than that, no, nothing.
That's neat. So if you guys want to know even more about her, you can go back and find that channel. Usually I would go and while you were talking, I would try to find that. But with all the technical issues were having before, I am not touching any tabs and doing any of that. So if my moderators want to do that, they sure can. If not, you guys can, I'm sure, just type it in the search bar, 30 questions, Prepper Potpourri or something, and it would probably pop up.
We were also talking earlier about safe canning, and that is
Yeah.
something that I feel strongly about. And we had, I had just said, I'm not a scientist. I don't have testing equipment to say what works and doesn't work. So I am going to follow what I am told. And sometimes it changes. Like my mother-in-law would put the wax on top of the jellies, right?
Yep.
They say don't do that anymore. So I don't do it anymore. Did any of us die back then? No, but you could have. There's that chance. So I'm really trying to promote safe canning. I just think it's important. Canning is a wonderful way to provide for your family, especially get all that produce now and have it in the winter. It's
Yes.
wonderful, but I think we got to be as safe as we can.
Yeah, well, that is one thing we were definitely talking about. That I love how you mentioned that your family had done it before, but now you don't. We were talking about that, how we may have even ourselves done something a certain way, found out there's new information out there that there's better ways to do it. And the other thing is, I have been hearing a lot about, like, for example, tomatoes, the acidity in the tomatoes now versus
Mhm.
like 20, 30 years ago are different. The ground is different, what it grows in, and it's just a different product. So we need to take that in consideration too.
Yeah, yeah, and to me, it's just not worth it. I'm not going to can butter or milk. I don't even like milk, so why would I can it? But
Oh
anyway,
no, I don't know. I thought we were friends until now, but
oh,
I
no, no,
I
no.
just can't
And
do
it's
milk.
not that I'm allergic to it or anything. I mean, I like it when it's made into ice cream.
Okay.
Okay, I
So
like it
you're
that.
not completely against dairy
No.
then. Okay.
And yogurt, it's okay. But I've
Yeah.
just never been a milk drinker my whole life. And I remember my mom used to always put in that strawberry quick to
Oh,
get me to
uh-huh.
drink. I don't even know if they make that anymore to get me to
Oh
drink
yeah.
milk. So
Son loves it.
I
Yep.
mean, it's been my whole life. I was an iced tea person. That's what I like to drink. So, but anyway, people are trying all these more questionable canning things, and yeah, it might be fine, but it might not. So I don't know. That's not a gamble I want to take.
Right. Why risk it, right?
Yeah.
I think that was a typo. I've been watching you for a fear or so. I think it meant to be a year or so. So, because I don't
You
think
gotta scare
does
'em.
fear. She's not about fear. That's what I love watching about her, because I can very much relate to you, and I feel like, that you're here just to bring me along in your kitchen with you and show me what you're up to and how you do it. And you give us a little information along the way too. And I like that very much. Try to see if there's any questions that I'm missing for you before we get too far down.
I also have to admit that it's hard for me to keep serious for a very long period of time. So sometimes my humor is not caught in my videos, but it's there. I'm not being serious about something.
Well, that's good, because we have to. I mean, why be serious all the time, right? I mean, life's no fun if you are. So you love canning. We've talked about that. I'm lost about what we did and touch base on before we went live. So forgive me if I'm saying this twice, everyone. She also dehydrates. And so, do you have certain foods that you prefer to can versus dehydrate versus freezing?
Yes. To me, and this is going to make canners out there, how can she say that? Meat tastes the best frozen. It's the most like meat. Okay. Canned meat, to me, pork is when you can it, tastes the most like pork when you uncan it, when you open a jar. But I'm sorry, beef does change a bit and chicken changes a bit. So I have 3 freezers. Okay. But I
Mm-hmm.
still I can up a lot of sometimes meat, but I like making, like somebody just mentioned, my pork chops in a jar, or I like to make
Yeah.
meals in a jar, do that. And for dehydrating, and yes, I make jerky once in a while, but that's not a long-term thing. It's more like
No.
right now I have a whole bunch of garlic I harvested, and I'm going to have to take care of that and dehydrate that and then grind it up so I have garlic powder. I like that more for veggies and fruits. be honest.
Oh, here we go. We'll skip up back to this one. I don't like meat either or milk either. I turned my cow to burgers because I didn't like milk to make milk chocolate. Now, see, I have a dairy animals, and so I enjoy my milk. But I'm like you. I love making cheese. I love making yogurt, ice cream. I don't very rarely just sit and like drink. Now, my son can sit and drink a half gallon of milk, especially if you put that powdered stuff in there or the syrup stuff in there. But you can go ahead and eat. Yeah, I will every once in a while, but there's nothing better than fresh cookies dipped in milk. I do like that too.
I like cookies and coffee.
Oh, there you go. I'll give you that because I do like my coffee too. Here we go. We have a question for you. What's the easiest thing to dehydrate?
Easiest thing to dehydrate. Frozen vegetables.
Okay.
Because you can put them frozen on the tray and just dehydrate them and just leave them in long. I mean, that's all you have to do. You don't have to parboil them first or anything. You just put them on the tray.
That's a great tip because that's one thing I've not done yet. Because my husband, I bought it and he was like, I want beef jerky. You know, that was his big request. And then I got excited and started doing other things. Like if I had an abundance of stuff, you know, I would blanch the whatever vegetable and put in there. I like watermelon dehydrated. Ooh. That's really good. And I like to make fruit leathers too. Because see, I do all of it. I freeze, I dehydrate, I freeze dry, I'll do all the ways of preservation. I mean, you know, hang the herbs, whatever.
So you have a freeze dryer too?
I do. Yep.
I looked into it, but I just thought I'd use it all the time the first couple weeks, but it would be like my Cricut. You know, I don't know if you've ever done a craft thing.
Oh, yes, I have.
I have a Cricut studio, for gosh sakes, and I haven't used it in 6 months. I know myself well enough that if I had my whole family here, it would probably be different. I'm putting away more food and whatever. But right now, the canning, dehydrating, freezing works for me. I don't need one more thing.
I did it because I heard that it holds the actual nutrients more than canning and dehydrating milk. Because I had bought a big dehydrator and then I turned around and found out about these freeze dryers and I thought, oh, I can't ask my husband if we can do this. So I waited a while and you know, checked it out for a while. And then I decided to take the plunge when there was a big sale. And I promise you, if you had one gifted to you, you would use it more than you think you would. I am impressed.
I do like the freeze dried Skittles. I've had people send those to me. I think they're pretty too, and I like them.
They are.
The thing is with freeze dryer, yes, it keeps nutrition, but this is the thing: if you've already cooked the item, it's already lost that nutrition before you put it in the freeze dryer.
Sure.
So for most of the time when you're canning, you're only maybe browning. You're not. So it's being cooked in the jar. Well, the truth is you can't really compare a lot of the methods because you're either cooking before, cooking afterwards, whatever. They're all a good idea. They're all good.
Yeah, that's what I definitely have things that I prefer one over the other or whatever. But I will admit I do enjoy having it and using it. I got it because I wasn't having luck with milk and eggs with dehydrating.
Yes, I haven't done that either one.
Yeah, and so that's why I got it, because I have a lot of milk and a lot of chicken. Well, I have a lot of eggs in general. I have a ton of poultry. And so for me, that was the biggest selling point, was because I just wasn't comfortable with what I was getting out of the dehydrator. But I love my dehydrator and I still use it. And I even put videos out recently proving it, because, you know, I don't want people to think you have to have a freeze dryer or whatever.
But you bought your freeze dryer, right?
Yes, with
100%. A
100%.
lot of YouTube channels, bigger channels, got one for free. So it isn't the same thing. You made an educated, you put away budget to buy something.
Right.
And I think that's a different approach than just to have someone give it to you and say, make 5 videos. You know what I mean?
Right, right. Yeah, no, it wasn't that. It was about 2 years worth of selling stuff at farmer's market to save up for it. So I had to
Right.
really, make sure I was gonna want it and use it. And I had a reason, and um I've used it as much as I thought I would, I guess I should say. Um Everybody's talking about the Skittles. You know what else is really good in the freeze dryer? Is caramel. And that's a really good
Oh,
one too.
I
Yeah.
do love caramel, and that probably won't stick to your teeth and take out your fillings. So
Right,
that would
right.
be an
Just like the
advantage.
Skittles
Yeah.
don't. Yep, yep.
I
There is
think
a
one,
time and
I
place
was
for
going to
each of
say,
it.
I think one of the other things is people have to do what works for their family.
Yes.
You know, and what you have room for. I mean,
Mhm.
maybe, you know, my Excalibur dehydrator takes up a whole niche in the kitchen.
Mhm.
And if I had a freeze dryer, I'm not quite sure where it probably have to go in the basement. And that's the other thing. If it's in the basement, I'm not looking at it every day. I probably won't be
Yes.
taking care of it like I should. But you have to have space for some of these things. The nice thing about canning is you need the canner, then you just need the space for the jars. But yeah, all of it takes up space, time, and money.
And the other space thing that I will talk about between dehydrating, I didn't know we were going to go here on this tonight, but um the thing I like about freeze drying is when I measure out, like if I chop up vegetables and put on there, I can usually measure that back out the same equal after freeze drying. It doesn't shrink.
Oh, yeah.
But
Okay.
the downfall is it doesn't shrink. And so
Right.
when you dehydrate, you can have a bunch of corn and then get it into one jar. And so, for
Oh,
space, you
and
don't gain any help
that's
there.
one of my favorite. I call it corn candy.
It is
You
so
dehydrate
good.
it. Corn is so it's like candy. It's
And
so good. I can
I
just
ate it last year warm off the mat when it was
yeah,
coming out. So
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Yeah. What is something you don't like to dehydrate?
Well, I didn't have a good, you know, everybody makes you make those fruit leathers and it's been
Mhm.
fine. And both times I've tried, I came up with kind of more of a sticky mess.
Oh,
And I've tried rolling it and whatever and cutting. And yeah, I obviously I'm not skilled at that. So I did not enjoy that as much. But also I don't have the little kids who want that, you know, so much. What else didn't I like dehydrating? Oh, I'm trying to remember what I had that stuck so bad to the. I made a mistake just putting it on the grid, the grid itself
oh,
as
I've done
opposed
that
to the
before.
sheet.
Yes.
Oh, and cleaning it up was just terrible. Right now, I can't remember, but it was something that had enough inherent sugar that it caused a mess. So,
I've
yeah, I
not had
love.
luck with carrots and celery. And
Oh
now
no, I'm okay with carrots,
I'm
but I
wondering if
haven't.
the pre-frozen carrots that you were talking about, like mixed vegetables, if those would be better for me. But I had done my own carrots and I did not, they just became these rock hard pellets. So I'm kind of wondering if I overdid it with them.
You know, they
Like they
say,
wouldn't
oh, you can't
hydrate.
overdo it, but yes, you can.
I kind of
Yeah,
I kind of think that's what it was because I'm like they will not rehydrate. I'm like I don't so I must have. So that's a good tip to know. So if you found something you
yeah.
don't like, try again.
Grit, Grit and Grace said bananas stick bad, and it might have been bananas. And I also was
They do.
disappointed because I thought bananas would taste more like bananas. And when you dehydrate them,
Yeah.
they're not, the sweetness seems to be gone. I don't know how else to
And
describe it.
they are not the same as when you buy them in the store and
No,
crunchy.
no,
They don't come
no.
out the same.
I
Yeah.
love apples in the dehydrator. Apple slices are
Ooh, yes.
fantastic.
Pears, peaches. Oh, cantaloupe. And then you sprinkle a little ginger
Yes,
on it
yes, that's
or
great. Oh, anything with
powdered
ginger is good.
sugar. Oh,
Yeah,
so good. That's another favorite treat here at the
yeah.
house.
My
So,
favorite thing in a dehydrator is to make salmon jerky or salmon candy, as they call it.
oh,
It
I've
is
never tried anything
really,
else.
really good. Yeah. Unfortunately, salmon's gotten so expensive though, and I
Yeah,
don't have,
it's a
we
real
sold
treat.
yeah, we sold the fishing boat. So yeah,
Oh, so yeah.
salmon. So
Am I echoing real bad to you?
not bad for me, but
Okay. I think if I keep away from the microphone, it's better. I don't want to touch anything. So we've talked about what you do and don't like dehydrating. Maybe canning. Is there anything that you will always can and something that you want to learn more about maybe, or you just didn't like?
I made starch when I canned potatoes the first time. It was pretty bad. And it's not, again, I think I would just as much rather buy canned. I love potatoes, but I don't like them canned or in a can, really. Um, I, yeah, I'm trying to think right now, and there was something I absolutely hated canned and would never do, and it went down the sink, but I can't remember now. But I do can things sometimes, like I canned beets, orange beets. I don't like them.
Oh,
I
really?
canned them. I don't like beets. I mean, I found one
Okay.
recipe I like, but and so my husband said, well, yeah, I'd have a couple, but you got a whole pint jar of them, so I was kind of wasting things. But I canned kielbasa, okay, and it changes. It doesn't taste like kielbasa. It's probably not safe canning either, but I done this a long time ago. Maybe you're not supposed to do sausages, whatever. But it doesn't taste the same at all. I really was disappointed. And for those of you that aren't Polish, it's kind of like a Polish sausage. Oh, I can't hear you now.
How about now?
Now I can hear you.
Ah, tonight's the crazy
Wow.
night. It's the crazy night. Yeah, I was wondering about that because I think I'd seen people try to do hot dogs, and I'm like, I don't even know if that's a safe canning method. And why would you want to? I would think they're already kind of mushy anyway. I wouldn't think that the texture, for me, it things are of a texture thing. Like I've seen people try to take I don't even know. Some things that they'll like open a can and put it together to put it in a can to make soup or something, and I'm just like, oh, like potatoes. I can't even imagine what they would be like. And speaking of potatoes, you said that you didn't like the starch. I think there are some potatoes that are better about not having the starch, like a yellow versus a white russet. Like russets, I've heard do it really bad. I just rinse it off.
My favorite potato is Yukon Gold.
Mine
And
too.
for the last year, it'll say yellow potato in the store, but it's not Yukon Gold, and it's not the same. So
It's not.
I planted my own Yukon Gold, but I think I'll harvest them next week. So, but this isn't Yukon, this is Michigan. Depending on what soil you grow them in, is how they're going to taste. So it probably still won't taste as good as Yukon Golds. But something happened. I guess they had a big, some kind of crop failure or something, so we weren't getting them here in the States.
Oh, okay. Well, another potato I like, I've never tried canning them because I've only gotten my hands on them one or two times, but it reminded me Renee was doing her unboxing video, fingerlings.
Oh,
They're good
I've never
too.
tried that.
Never tried those. You should try them. They remind me a little bit of the Yukon Golds.
You
They're
know, I dehydrate potatoes quite often, and to me, that's one of the another easy thing. Also, as
Yes.
long as you follow the procedure, they rehydrate. You can fry them up, the slices. It tastes like they're fresh. So that's something I do like to dehydrate.
I did the sliced ones like you would make scalloped potatoes with.
Mhm.
And I blanched them first and everything, and they just came out perfect. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Why would you go buy Hamburger Helper when you could put it together yourself so easy?"
Yep. Yep. It's great, and sweet potatoes are good that way too. So
I have not done that with sweet potatoes. I've made, like, treats for the dogs. That's as far as I went with sweet potatoes. We love them so much, we usually just bake them and eat them before I have enough for
I
I do have some canned downstairs, I guess. I've just not brought them out for eating. I usually they're so mushy, I turn them into pie or something. Okay, and then freezing, you said by far you think meat is your favorite. Is there something you don't like frozen? Like some people just prefer their corn and beans and things frozen. They don't like it in the can, and it's too soft. I know around here where I'm in Kansas, and that's we like a soft green bean, but like Seattle, you're considered, a redneck if you have a soft green bean.
I like, I have to admit, corn to me, frozen tastes good, but so does canned corn, but it's a lot of work. Okay, taking it off the cob and everything.
Yeah.
So either way, to me, that's one of the vegetables you can buy frozen that tastes pretty good without going through all the work yourself. But yeah, for green beans, I freeze them, but still they aren't as good as fresh. I do sometimes string them and make britches, what they call them. You string them and
Yes.
they
Never
dry.
done that.
Oh, it's kind of fun, and as long as your cat doesn't think it's a cat toy, get it down. But other than that, yeah, it's different tasting too. But that's a very southern thing that I do enjoy, even though I'm a Yankee.
Well, I think that's awesome. I have heard of that before, and I always wondered, like Three Rivers Homestead. I think she's done that before, and I always wondered if they got rubbery or if they were weird.
It's just that you when you prepare them, it's a slow cooking process. And usually do it
Okay.
with ham, bone, or something else. But it has a different flavor. It's really good, but it's different.
Oh,
I don't know how to describe it. So
definitely should try that then.
yeah,
We have a guest comment here. It says, I actually have saved the parchment paper after dehydrating beets. It was so pretty. I thought I was be able to use it in a craft project. What a way to use every bit. I love that. Nothing goes to waste, right? I have
you
a
can also use
passion.
beet juice for your. They used to
Oh, there
use
you
it
go.
for
Makeup.
makeup during World War I, like over in the United Kingdom, and that was
Yeah.
give some color.
Well, that's a nice little tip. I- You and I are just kind of getting to know each other, but one passion I have is food waste. I hate food waste. And so I'm always trying to find a way to use all of it up. And especially now when everything's so expensive, it's like you've got to learn to do something with the leftovers and remake them. And speaking of that, a good way to warm up those leftovers are in the air fryer.
Oh, I
And
love it, and I love air fryer Fridays.
yes, so many of you know we've got a collaboration going on right now. Let's see if I can get that to pop up. Air fryer August, air fryer Friday, and I actually have to give Mary Ellen credit for that because she kind of inspired me to do this because in the past she has hosted an air fryer collaboration before. And so if you want to know some great videos, you could go check that out also. But tell us how you became to love your air fryer so much.
I thought they were the silliest thing, and like I really needed one more appliance, right? Where am I going to put it? And a Chinese company sent me one for free. And I thought, well, gee,
Okay.
I guess okay, I'm going to use it, and I loved it. And my husband loved it, and we started using it for all kinds of things. And we thought it's healthier. That is really good for two people. It's just the right size. And that was probably 3 years ago, and then it died last fall. And immediately I thought, oh my God, what am I going to do? I had to get one on Amazon that was delivered the next day. I couldn't get the same model. But anyway, because we really, at least probably 3 times a week, we are using it for lunch or dinner.
That is
Love it.
great. So she has a lot of recipes on her channel. I don't know if you have a playlist of just
I do. Yeah.
air
Air
fryer stuff.
fryer
I think
recipe.
you could
Yeah.
easily find those recipes then. And I don't know if you guys have seen it yet. If you haven't, make sure you go watch it. I believe last Friday is when your video came out, and you did an Asian dish, and it looked so good. I'm haven't tried it yet, but it is on my list of things to try for sure.
Well, and next month you'll be part of Spam Timber.
Yes, I am so excited about that. I didn't know if you were talking about it yet or making the announcement of
Yeah,
it.
this will be the third year that if you're a prepper, you know what Spam is, and or if you live in Hawaii, and they it's a national dish in Hawaii, I think. But we come up with different Spam recipes, and I even made Spam peanut butter cookies, and they were dang good. It is amazing what you can do with Spam, and everybody thinks Spam, oh no, but if you prepare it right, It's good. And there's like turkey spam. I think you're going to be using turkey spam, and
I
there's
am.
all different kinds.
Yes.
But yeah,
There's a bacon
it,
one and all. Yeah,
yeah,
I was looking and I was like, I'm gonna stick with the turkey.
yeah. And it's a lot of fun coming up with different recipes, and it's something we do every September because it is preparedness month. So
Perfect. Yeah. And I like the spin on, September and spam and how you combined it. And so I'm excited to be a part of this collaboration and part of the group to get to bring some videos along with that. I love spam, been eating since I was a kid. That's awesome. I'm excited for all the recipes. And like she said, it's a third year running. So you can go back and get excited and get yourself pumped up for this because there are a bunch of videos from the past 2 years that you can go get inspired by also. But it's amazing, like you said, the things that you could do. Because it was just, spam and eggs. That's just what, in our area, what people talked about. But I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but there's some really cool things that I've been seeing that I'm thinking about doing. But um, it looks like we've reached the 7 o'clock, which we haven't been on an hour, but we've reached our hour. So if anyone needs to leave, I understand. Big Valley Living goes on after we do. So if you go over there, I like to always send a love raid. Let's see if I can find it. So head on over to Big Valley Living and tell Michelle that the squirrel sent you.
okay.
So everyone that needs to move on there certainly can, and I won't. Oh, Leanne said she won the Spam Timber Prize last year. So
She
excited.
got a spam slicer. Man, they really are handy. I use
I
mine
was
quite often.
looking at that online and I was like, do I need to order one of those? Because I never can cut it perfectly
Mhm.
straight, you know? It's always
Yeah.
going to be a little crooked, and that little slicer is a good idea. The squirrel. You can't leave yet. Well, I don't want to take any more of Mary Ellen's time than because I'm sure she's got lots of things too. So I'm not gonna hold her hostage here by any means. But I will let you have the opportunity. Was there anything else that you wanted to share with everyone? I guess we've talked about spam timber, so that would be the exciting news that you have. Um, so
There's only one other thing. As for YouTube, have fun. Watch
yeah.
videos, have fun. Don't get into all the drama stuff that happens on it. Just learn and have fun and enjoy YouTube. And I think that's the way we should use the platform.
I love it. Great way to end the show. Thanks again, Mary Ellen, for coming on tonight. I
Thanks
really
for
enjoyed it.
having me.
You were quite a trooper with me with all the technical issues, and I appreciate it. Bye, everyone. We will see you all next week.
Thank you. Bye bye.